There are new questions tonight about whether governments dropped the ball in protecting the vulnerable during last week's heat wave. As CTV's Penny Daflos reports, there is a paper trail of warnings that seem to have been forgotten when they were needed most.
Municipalities urged people to hydrate and stay cool, providing AC in public buildings and setting up cooling centers in a typical response to a heat wave that would prove anything but. Hundreds died in the record-breaking heat dome, the final death toll still unclear. Now, a CTV News investigation has revealed there were a series of warnings about what kind of temperatures could put lives at risk in Metro Vancouver. Several documents warned high relative humidity and extreme heat early in the season could prove deadly to seniors, kids, and the poor while impacting agriculture and infrastructure. The first warning followed the region's last deadly heat wave in 2009. A 2012 BC CDC report recommended declaring a heat health emergency if Vancouver temperatures were forecast above 29 degrees and Abbotsford temps were expected above 34 for 2 days or more. The forecast greatly exceeded that with days of notice. A 2017 report from the CDC reiterated the same warnings and also found heat response may be on the radar of staff and fire services, but not politicians. And extreme heat was not considered a priority by any of the health authority participants, given the historically temperate conditions.
Government needed to respond more quickly and use every tool that was available to them.
The BC Liberals unearthed another report with 4 pages of warnings, including a prediction 100 people could die if temperatures above 32 degrees held for more than 3 days.
It is incumbent on this government to ask someone to take a look, someone independent, to look at what happened and find out how we can do this better and respond more appropriately next time.
BC Housing is the agency responsible for the emergency weather shelters, whether it's cold or hot. And so, cities definitely reached out.
But BC Housing tells CTV News they're only responsible for those living in social housing they manage. So there were no overnight accommodations for seniors or the vulnerable on their own.
In the Lower Mainland, we're not used to over 40-degree weather. I think those discussions need to happen.
So, Penny, who was ultimately responsible? Who could have declared a public health or heat health emergency?
You know, Mijung, I've been trying to get that answer all day long. Media relations staff would not let me talk to anyone at Health Emergency Management BC, even though their website says the agency handles emergency response. A public health emergency could be declared by Dr. Bonnie Henry, but the Ministry of Health said neither her nor Adrienne Dix were available to speak to me. So a lot of questions, including whether the idea of a heat health emergency was rejected or whether it was even considered at all, Mijung.
All right, thank you, Penny.